This is a video about how to play the game Forest Fire. The game was released and it's available from the Game Crafter. And you can also find links to it at phosphorlearn.com. So in this game, you're basically, you see the big forest board here, and there's houses and schools, and basically your job is to save those from fires, and fires will start up as we go through the game. You have various tools. You have water barrels that you can dump on them. You have explosive fire extinguisher balls, and you have a helicopter that can drive and throw those things and water onto the fires. And you have bulldozers that can dig a fire line to block the fire from crossing. And then you have a deck of cards that goes through and will tell you each turn what to do. And then there's wind. There's a prevailing wind card. I'll show you when we set that up. And that tells you how the fires spread each turn. Just a note about the bulldozer. I have a little metal bulldozer that I like to use here. You can get those as bracelet charms. The people who bought Kickstarter versions of this game got those packaged into the game. And sometimes I like to use a nice big similar charm, metal bulldozers charms, but for now I'm just going to use the tokens. All of the games come with printed tokens for bulldozers and the helicopter. All right, now the initial setup. The first thing you have to do to set it up is you have to build two rivers, and you lay them out any way you want, so long as there are basically two rivers that touch all four sides, right? That's just, this is one of the things that's a lot of fun for younger kids to do. They like to put the rivers elsewhere. I've made it so that the rivers actually line up according to the diagrams. If that's a little bit work, you can use the backward side. See the flip side of these. One side has the river and the other side just has a generic river piece. And to make a quicker setup, you just use all of those generic sides and just throw them anywhere you want to line them up. And then you scatter 20 houses, the brown houses all over anywhere you want. Sometimes kids like to clump them all up and protect them, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's not. Whatever you want, however you want to set it up. Every game you play is completely different based on the board you set up in the beginning. And then you have two schools. The white things are the big school things that you, again, place anywhere you want. And then finally, before starting, you place two bulldozers somewhere. You can place them strategically, like this one is strategically placed to protect that school if we need to. This one, not so much, but we can fix that later in the game. All right, that's the game as it starts. Then before you do anything, you figure out where the prevailing wind is. You roll a single die. I got a 2, and you count off north, northwest, west, southwest, south, southeast, east. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, according to the die, to where the prevailing starting wind is. And this starting wind is 2, so the prevailing wind comes from the northwest. All right. Prevailing winds mostly are reasonably proportional to the real prevailing winds where this game was made, which is in the Pacific Northwest of the US. Okay, so the wind is coming from the northwest. That means that fires, when they spread, will spread this way. They go with the wind, they spread with the wind. And we'll get to that and see that as we build up the fires. The next thing you do is you start the first fire before starting the game. And to do that, you roll the row and column die. It doesn't matter which one you use for row, which one you use for column. I use green for column and red for row. So this is the 11th column over and the 16th row down. I don't number all of the squares because that would make the board look really ugly, and this is just way too beautiful a board to do that. But we've put little fire indicators on the 4 spots that are 10. So this is the 10th row, column across. So this is the 11th. And then I count down 15 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, I guess. 16, right. So the first fire starts there. Then the first fire, as it says in the rules, the first fire is always 4 acres, right? Each one of these cells here on the board is called an acre for convenient. So I need to make 4 acres. I have to put 3 more on. Now, here's another thing that's, this game is designed that you play it the way you like to play it, right? Strict or just have fun, whatever. Strictly, the fire should go according to the prevailing wind. So it starts there, and then it should have 3 more roughly in that direction from the prevailing wind. Whenever you start a fire, all of the fire acres must touch each other, right? You can't do this when you put a new fire, all right? They always touch each other. So there's 4 acres of fire starting right away. This house is already in danger. But that's the start. So now, the next thing we do is we draw a card. So now we're starting the real turns. Everybody in this game, everybody's one team. Everybody plays, takes their turn in turn, and then does what they want to do. And they can try to coordinate to set up things for each other, but that's up to them. And again, one person can play this game if they want to. First card. First card is a weather card. It says the wind direction is unchanged, so it stays there, and it's 3 miles an hour, and only 1 fire spreads. So you'll have cards that spread three fires, 2 fires, or all fires. So 1 fire spreads in this direction, right? Spreading fires is kind of like an art. It's tricky. And, again, do it the way you want to. Here's the way I count. And I have, if you go to my site, the information about the game, you'll see several examples of how I spread fires to set it up the way you want. So basically, I look down here at the leading edge of the fire. So the wind is coming this way. This is the leading edge. The leading edge has, in this case, 3 spaces. So each one of them goes down 1 in approximately the direction of the spread of the fire, right? So now the fire has spread to that. That's where we are now. Now, every move that doesn't start a new fire has 2 parts. Spread the fire and then move the pieces. Move the pieces has 2 different things. You can either put new pieces onto the board, or you can, if they're on the board, move them. So I could, for example, right now, move the bulldozer. That's the only pieces on the board. I can move the bulldozer. But I want to get rid of this fire. I'm a little scared of that, so I'm going to do that. So to put things onto the board, I can put the helicopter onto the board, or I can put water barrels onto the board, or fire extinguisher balls. I'm going to put water barrels onto this board and try to get as many up there as I can to do this. Now, here's a little bit of an interesting trick. This fire is near the edge of the board. I'm lucky there. So everything you go on has to go within 3 spaces of the end. So 1, 2, 3. I can put it right here to start, and just like that, blow out 1 of the acres of fire. Yay! That's a start. 1. I should set these out so I know how many. I've got 5 more to go. Do 3. Or I can do it the other way. I can do 6, or I can do 3, and then 1 of these, because 1 of these knocks out 3 fires. All right? And so, in fact, that would be a smart play to do. I'm going to do a little bit dumb play right now for the purposes of the game. 1, 2, 3. I knock out this one. Yay! 2. And then 1, 2, 3. That doesn't reach. Okay? And then 1, 2, 3. And you can put it together with a house. That's okay. And it'll protect the house if you do that. All right? So now I'm set up. These 2 get replaced by black because they're burnt. Oh, no, sorry. That one didn't burn. Right. That one replaced. There we go. Okay. So now I've stopped that fire, at least for the beginning, right? Next turn. Somebody else draws a card. Wind from the southwest. So first thing you do is change the wind. Southwest, blowing that way at 7 miles an hour. So this is the prevailing wind now, 7 miles an hour. I usually keep the current wind card on top so you know. 7 miles an hour. It says to spread 2 fires. Now, fortunately, I only have 1 fire. So I'm only going to spread the 1 fire, but it's going to spread in this direction. Again, it looks like I have 3 on the facing edge, so I spread 3. Now, at this point, I could put more. I could move this on and blow up some of that fire. But with the southwest wind, maybe it's not endangering my houses. And when you have a free turn, it's a good idea. Get the helicopter on the board. It's a powerful piece. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3. Or you count it as put it on the board and then count 2 spaces in, whatever you want to, however you want to do it. I think that's the way it's written in the rules. Anyway, so that's the helicopter there. Maybe I'll move it over here a little bit more. 1, 2, 3. So it can get to that fire. Because the helicopter, what it can do is it can go over this river, pick up 2 rivers, and then drop 2 rivers at the same time on top of that. Or a fire extinguisher ball or whatever. Okay, so that's that turn. Got it? Now, a smoker threw a burning cigarette in the dry grass. Now it's a big forest fire. 6 acres. That's a big one. 6 acres. 6. Not good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I roll the 2 die. 11, 8. 11. 1, 2, 3. What did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. And then blowing this way, these should be all like this. Blowing that way. All right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can, if you want to put it on a house and blow up a house and stuff, we usually play, because I play with my grandchildren a lot, so that when you put a new fire in, you try not to burn up a house immediately with a new fire. But anyway, play the way you have fun. This game is about having fun. It's not about being strict about the rules. Okay, now that's a new forest fire. And when you start a fire, your turn is over, okay? So the next person gets a turn, and wind is now from the south at 3 miles an hour. South is going to blow up that way. That's lucky for me. Look, see this? Because it's blowing straight up this way, there's only a leading edge of 2. Now, I could say maybe that 3 should also go. Again, it's your judgment. So the fire spreads, and it is only one fire. I look back at my latest weather thing. Only one fire spreads. Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that. When you have more than one fire and one fire spreads, you have to roll a die and see which fire you spread. So I'll roll a die, and I'll number this fire number 1, fire number 2. I roll it, and I get a 1. I'm staging this, of course. I get a 1, so that means that fire spreads. So again, you roll the die to decide which fire or fires spread. In this case, only one fire, that fire spreads. Now, I tried to make it so the bulldozer is the most important piece on the board, and it sort of is, because it's the way you protect. You build a barrier for the others. So the fire is going up this way, so I want to build a barrier there that goes across, protects the school and that house from the fire. And the bulldozer can move 10 spaces, but it can only leave 5 rock. The rock then becomes a fire line that the fire can't cross unless you have very high winds. So 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then get it out of the way, 9, 10. Okay, so now I've got 3, 4, 5, whoops, clumsy hands here. Okay, so now I'm protected against that advancing fire, even if the fire changes and goes this direction. I think I'm going to change that and do this one, protect it better. There we go. Okay, so now I've dug my fire line, and that protects that. Some kids, their bulldozer is their favorite piece, and they will always do the bulldozer the first chance they get. Yeah, that's okay. You all play it together. Okay, now weather from the north at 7 miles an hour. So put it up there from the north. There, can you see it on? Barely see it. There. 7 miles an hour and 2 fire spreads. So both these fires are going to spread going south. Uh-oh, we got a problem. But we have also a good thing. Let's spread this fire. This fire from the north. I'm going to spread this to there, this to there, this to there. And we blew out one house already. Right, one house down. All right. And then this fire is a little bit tricky. It's coming from the north, so I think these 3 would spread. This one, these 2 can't spread to there, so it's either going to spread to these 3 or it's going to spread to these 3, right? You can take your choice. Doesn't matter. Let's do it this way first. This one, the fire spreads to here, but it hits this, which makes this explodes and does 3 spaces, and so 1, 2, and 3 will black out, protecting this house. This house is now on a burnt acre, but that's okay. And then these 2 can't go because it's already blacked out because the fire doesn't jump. If it jumped, it could have go across there. I could have gone this way, and then this one would have blown up with that water barrel, okay? So when they move, they blow up on the things that they hit. So now we've moved those. Now we have to either move pieces on to the board or move onto the board or on the board. I'm going to use the helicopter. And the helicopter can go 10 spaces and pick up 2 things, carry 2 things at once. 1, 2, 3, can pick up water from the river. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can't get more than those 2 because it has to go back 2 spaces away, but it can get those 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to back it up to here. Okay, you got that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It has to be 2 spaces away. These 2 are blackened. There. And the helicopter is hopefully safe. Although high wind could get that helicopter, we could be toast. So that's tricky. Maybe I should have backed it over here. Maybe I should do that, get it out of the way. Because if the fire's coming from the north, if we get a wind, two turns where one of them jumps, it'll jump over that river and blow away that helicopter. We don't want that. And the helicopter is good and safe here. Well, 2 turns should give me enough, and this way it can take those and go up and get that. Okay, there we go. Uh-oh, new fire. Someone was careless with their campfire. Sparks set off trees on fire. It's a forest fire, 3 acres. Oh boy, not good, 3 acres. Roll the die, 4, 8. 3 acres, it's a small one, fortunately. At 4, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, see, now I wish I had a bulldozer up here to protect that school. And so let's see what we can do. 3, 8. So we started a fire, so now it's the next person's turn. Look at that, bulldozer. Here, this is the magic card. This is the magic card, my favorite card. It's not only beautiful, thank you, Lise. This is a beautiful card, but it allows you to either add a bulldozer if you've lost one. You start with 2, so you should be okay unless you burn one out. Or you can move a bulldozer to any acre with this card. I'm going to take this useless bulldozer here and move it up here so we can draw a line and protect these from the wind, because the wind could change direction and go north again, You'll go toward the north again and get us up there, okay? So I moved the bulldozer. Oh, I didn't spread the fires. Oops, sorry, before I did that, I should spread the fires. All the fires, 2 fires spread coming down. So how many fires are gonna spread? 6, it has to be 1, 2, or 3. 2 of the 3. 5, 1. 1 spreads, comes down. Fortunately, there's only leading edge of 2 on that fire. That's good. Another fire is gonna spread. I need a 2 or a 3. Come on, dice. A 3. This fire spreads. Ah, lucky again. It spreads this way. Can't cross that, and this one gets blown up. Because there was a water barrel already there. Yay. Okay. Looks good. We're looking good. Not too many fires out there. Okay, next turn. And I moved the bulldozer. That was my move, was moving the bulldozer. Weather. The weather's wind direction unchanged at 3 miles an hour. Phew! Only 1 fire spreads. Which fire is going to spread? But they're all going to spread down, so it doesn't matter because the wind is 3 miles an hour. None of them can spread because of the barriers, right? So this can't, unless, if we had a 7 miles an hour or something like that, yeah, see here, if we'd gotten this card, which is the next card, then spread all fires and jump. Let's pretend we got that one instead and go over that jumping because we already did the helicopter once. So let's suppose we got this card. Wind direction from the northwest. At 12 miles an hour, fire will jump. Fire will jump only 1 acre, all right? Skips 1 acre. All right, northwest. So this one goes here. Skips 1 acre, it's going to get that house. Actually, I shouldn't have put the blackened. Even if the house protected it, it wouldn't get blackened. Okay, so that house got blown away because that spread that way. The other edges don't spread because it's 2 steps to get out to free. You'd have to skip 2 lines. Spreading this one spreads here, and these 2 spread across the river. Okay? All fires. This one now has to spread. Uh-oh, not good. And it spreads, because it spreads, jumps, it spreads 2 acres each. Not good at all. All right, so first thing we're going to do, now is the time we got to use that helicopter and blow away as many as we can. So 1, 2 has 2, block out those 2. That's 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we took out all 4 of those. Phew, got rid of some. To pick up 2 water barrels, it can do just touch the river once. It's fine to pick up 2. Okay, that's basically how you play the game. Now, I should note, in the earlier version of the rules, it said that helicopter can only pick up 1 thing at a time, but that made the helicopter a little bit too weak. I think with more playing, it's a little bit more fun to make allow the helicopter to carry 2 things at once. If you want to, you can make it carry 3 things at once, and then the helicopter becomes dominant. 2 is probably the best balance. So the latest version of the rules says the helicopter can carry 2 things at once. Okay, that's it. We're looking good. I can tell you, where's the next one? Be warning of this. That is the worst card ever. Usually, when you get this drought, the game's over, especially right now. It would double the largest fire. This is the largest fire. Doubling that would put us right over 50 right away. So that's why you have to keep your fires small as much as you can, so when you do get this drought card, you don't get blown away. Now, be careful to follow the rules about how to set up the deck. The rules in here about how to set up the deck, shuffle them into 3 piles, and the whole point of that is to put the fires evenly distributed throughout the deck. Otherwise, it can be a boring game, nothing happening, and then suddenly tons of fires. And also to put the droughts at the end of the game. And again, if you like to win, either take all the droughts out or only leave 1 drought card in the game. They are killers, those drought cards. Okay, I hope you enjoy playing the game.